Yeah.
All right, Shalom, family. Shalom, everybody. All right, all praise to the Most High. While you have a shy. All right, family. Shalom. Shalom to the brothers and sisters that's online. Accompanying us on our closing Shabbat class. I know most of y'all was looking for a DSTM earlier today, as per usual, but no. Today's lesson is going to be in the vein of DSTM. However, it's going to be a little bit more focused. The last DSTM I made mention of, I was like, you know what? Sometimes there's some information that I want to isolate and I want to really get the attention that is needed because it's going to go over people's heads if I, um, collaborated with 30 other articles of current events. Uh, Things that get lost in translation. Sometimes it might not be looked at as important as it is. So you see the title. Today's title is Endgame, the devil's in the detail. Um, I made mention of this in the DSTM a while back regarding talking about um, what was once known as Agenda 21, and now it's Agenda 2030. And if we're talking about the end game, we're talking about Esau's ultimate plan, revealing, the beast system, what that entails, how oppressive it is, what his ultimate goal is in regards to complete global domination and control as it pertains to his prophecy of Job 9:24. I haven't seen, not that I've been really actively looking, so I could be wrong, but I haven't seen this topic really be covered or talked about in the Israelite community too much, for whatever reason that may be. But I do think it's vital and it's important for us to at least know, have awareness in regards to what exactly that is, right? Um, it's probably going to get us in trouble with YouTube. Who knows? But hey, it is what it is. Let's read that. Give me that in Isaiah 58 first. Then we'll go to that one and look. Shalom. Who's in the house, man? Bayan, shalom to you and your household, man. Uziel, Malachi, shalom, you brothers up north. The house of Byron, shalom to y'all. The house of Elkanah, shalom to the fam down there in Jacksonville. Coaf, my brother over there in the Midwest, shalom to you. Who else is in the Quab over there? AZ, shalom to you. Shalak, shalom to you. Hopefully you will, my brother. Uh, let's get to it then. Isaiah 58 and 1. So, just in regards to the topic, going to be a little controversial, but be that far for me to do so. That's pretty much how it goes. I mean, like I was sharing with brothers before, um, for those that tune in or watch through the IQ channel, I did a little experiment. Most of y'all know that I said I'm not going to do DSTMs on them. And because the channel was being targeted and they was actively removing DSTMs off of that channel. So I stopped doing them, maybe about 2-3 weeks. No problems on the channel no more. They wasn't taking them off no more. They let it go. Last 2 weeks I've been back doing DSTMs on there again. Sure enough, this week they started removing DSTMs again. They just removed another one yesterday. They did 2 this week. So it's almost like every time I go live on there, they're gonna go back and just remove. So experiments been proven, man. The bastards is out here targeting and stepping on the toes of poor little us. We ain't hurt nobody, man. You acting like we got 500,000 subscribers and 1 million views. We can't even get up to, a couple hundred without them squashing it and shadow banning everything. So it is what it is, man. The work continues. So let's read that Isaiah 58:1. So this lesson rule is going to go right along in the vein. So share it while you can. Do everything you can to keep download it, do whatever. I could be wrong. I could be pumping it up. They might let it fly. Who knows? But I guarantee you, if they let it fly, they're gonna shadow ban it so that it doesn't get spread. It isn't as visible as it is. Y'all shalom, Mike. What's up, my brother? Let's go ahead and get to it then. Isaiah 58. Let's read one.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 58, and verse 1.
Mhm.
Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgression.
So even when it comes down to controversial topics and things of that nature, man, the Lord said that we still have to cry loud, spare not. Our voices have to be utilized as trumpets to sound the alarm, to bring awareness to our people, to help them gather to a sense of understanding that the Most High wants us to learn and be shown. Right. So we're showing our people not only their transgressions, but also showing our people the knowledge and the wisdom and the prophecies as it pertains to the scriptures. Um, Primarily, though, we're supposed to be showing our people their transgression so that they can repent. We can come back under the banner of righteousness and the covenant that the Most High blessed our people with. You can finish that up.
And the house of Jacob their sins.
And the house of Jacob, their sins. So, when the so-called Negro and Hispanic keep running around crying about, you can't judge me, leave me alone. Yeah, well, we're going to show you where you're going wrong at. It's our job, it's our duty to bring to awareness our people when they're sinning, when they're transgressing, when they're going against the ways of the Most High. Now go over to Luke 12 and what was it, 7?
3, I think.
12 and
Another one, Matthew 10:27.
Yeah, read that in 3.
Book of Luke, chapter 12, and verse 3. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear and closest shall be proclaimed upon the housetops.
So the things that were proclaimed in the closet, that said that those things to be shouted and proclaimed upon the housetops. So we're supposed to be openly talking about things as it pertains to the salvation of Israel, man. What we're talking about now is what's known as Agenda 2030. Again, it was called Agenda 21. This is the timeline that the so-called white man is putting up when he wants to really put the clamps down. You want to know about Jacob's trouble. You want to know about, well, when's the beast system really just going to be open, and when is it going to be completely visible, and when's the clamps really going to come down? He gives you timelines. He came out with Agenda 21. That was like when he first started declaring that was like in the 90s. So he projects things damn near 20 years ahead, and then that puts everybody to sleep. You say, oh, 2012, we don't know what that's about, but we're far from there. We're trying to get to the millennium. So now, when 2021 came around, and if y'all remember, there was a key thing that happened leading up to 2021, and it happened maybe a little couple years before that was leading up to the plans. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can't, if I say it, it's going to be a problem, but it had to do with your health. And that was the changing of the guard, and that was the thing where you notice a lot of different laws start getting implemented in, different things start changing, the economy started doing different things. So that was the plan, but however, it didn't go all the way through. So there was already a plan to extend it to 2030. That's the new plan in regards to overall change, complete domination, and control, right? But the Lord said information like this has to be pronounced upon the rooftops, right? So this is no what do you call that? Boy crying wolf. No, the white man is clearly letting you know what he's gonna do. If you don't understand it, you don't see it. It's our job as go to Ezekiel. Our job as watchmen to alert our people, whether they hear or forbear. The Most High said, "Get out there and let it be known." Ezekiel 3, and let's read 4 down to 7, and we'll drop down to 11.
Book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, and verse 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel.
Right. So we speak the same slang, same words, same dialects as our people. The Lord said, "You're not being sent to a people of a hard language, people that you can't get across to." Right. The Most High said to take the vision and write it in a book and make it plain upon tables. He told Rebecca. So we do the same things, right? Read on.
Not too many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words thou canst understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee.
Right.
But the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted.
The Most High said, "Don't be surprised if the people say, oh, what was he talking about? Oh, okay, I'm turning this off." Or, yeah, I've seen those guys all the time on the streets or whatever. Those guys are crazy. Oh, that's not what my pastor doesn't agree with what you said, so I'm not going to listen. That's okay because the Lord already said, you know what? You're going to be dealing with a hard-headed, stiff-necked people that just won't understand. They won't get it. It's not made for everybody, right? That's why the Most High announced that there's an elect, there's a remnant. That's why he announced that there's going to be a chosen few that are delivered out of such captivity, and 2/3 of his people are going to get put to death. Read down verse 11.
Verse 11. And go, get thee to them of the captivity, unto the children of thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, Thus saith the Lord God, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear.
Right. So it doesn't matter the circumstances that we all face. The Lord said, "Speak unto the children of the captivity, which is the children of Israel here, held in bondage throughout the four corners of the earth." And he said, whether they hear or forbear, you got to let them know, right? So that's our job. Let's jump over to Proverbs 21. I'm gonna share my screen. We're gonna get right to it because there's a lot that I want to cover, a lot we need to read. There's a few videos, there's a couple of, and this is like scraping the surface, man. I'm just giving everybody a head start on what to expect, what to look for um, in the incoming future, right? Uh, First, let's go to Job. Job 9:24. Let's go to the classic Job. Because when we're talking about Agenda 2030, as you can see where I'm sharing my screen, it's population control and the end of private property. That's essentially what Agenda 2030 is about. And I'm going to read a little bit from the UN, the United Nations, their own document in words on what this entails. It's not something I made up. It's not some conspiracy theory. This comes from their own words, right? Job 9:24. Let's read that.
Book of Job, chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?
So the Most High has declared that there is a wicked in the earth. They're controlling and ruling the earth. They've done a dastardly deed in changing the faces of the judges of the earth. Now, the judges of the earth are the Israelites. We've been given the laws and the statutes and the commandments, the knowledge of good and evil, in order to make righteous judgments in the earth. That's what the Lord pronounced for us. He's changed those faces. The ultimate judge is Yahweh Shai. Did he not change his face? Clearly he did, right? So he said that the earth has been given into the hand of the wicked, which is the so-called white Edom. And that's gonna be the next one. I'll deal with that one in another lesson because I seen some cat in DSTM a week or so ago talking about Edom is the Catholic Church in Rome. I gotta destroy him real quick. Um, so if there's any question about if Esau is Edom and who the wicked is that's running the earth, look no further than this lesson today. We can talk about all the World Council of Churches and the World Banks, and we can talk about the global economy and real estate and everything. There's no question who's running it all. You know, and even just to say, okay, Rome is Edom. All right, well, look at the pictures of Rome. Who do they look like? I don't see a bunch of black folks running around. Oh, Rome is still the so-called white man. I mean, come on. This is some foolishness that our people be. I don't even know if he was our people be into, but nonetheless, this is what we're talking about, right? Before we go there, let me share this up. Let's see. I think I have to do it this way. All right. So here we have. Does this say IQ anything? Or you see United Nations at the top? Okay. Transforming our world. So who's the earth been given it to? The hands of the wicked. They're letting it be known as their world, and they're going to make transformations to it. That's just on the front cover. 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Those are key words that we got to listen for. Sustainable development, clean, green, all that other stuff. When you hear that, it's not for your own good. Best believe. Um, This is just. I'm gonna blow this up a little bit. I want to read down. This is just some of the agendas that they got. Now you see, I don't know if y'all can see it. Sustainable development goals and targets. End poverty in all its forms everywhere. This all sounds great. They're gonna make it sound like it's so beautiful, man. Give me Ecclesiastes 7:7 real quick. And why are you looking for that? Ecclesiastes 7:7. End hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Their goal also is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. I mean, the list goes on and on of all the dang lies that he's out. He's trying to make it sound like Esau's going to make the kingdom on earth. Everybody's going to be sustained. Everybody's going to eat. Everybody's going to have great health care. Everything's going to be great. Since when has the so-called white man ever had this idea in his mind? He wants everybody to be on the equal playing field as him. He wants us all to live in splendor in this great utopia that he's going to create. As he's always established himself as the head. He's the top of the class. Everybody else is beneath him and subservient. He's never made something where we're all just enjoying. Everybody's great. We're all going to have, equal opportunities with money, women, girls. You're going to be empowered. Everything's going to be great. Everybody's going to be eating. You're going to have food, drink. Don't worry about it. Kingdom on earth is here, and it's going to come at the hands of the so-called white man. When is he ever going to be able to do that? In all honesty. He's saying these are all going to be things that he wants to create and promote, but guess who controls it? Him. He's creating this whole little agenda, and he's saying, I'm going to end poverty for you. I'm going to get you food. I'm going to get you what? But it's going to be under my terms, my circumstances. I control everything. Everything that you need is going to come through me. This is back to him having the God complex. But read that Ecclesiastes 7:7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Mm-hmm. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
Great. So people may say that this all sounds great. Why you make it sound like this is a bad thing? Read it one more time.
Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, mm-hmm. and a gift destroyeth the heart.
A gift destroyeth the heart. It will destroy your mind. It will distort you into believing that, all of a sudden he's really good for us. Sirach 12:10. Let's read that one. I'm not familiar with that, brother. What was that? Oh, that was the goal. Yeah. That makes sense. Chicken in every pot, but guess who's gonna be boiling in the pots? Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We're gonna be in the pots boiling. All right. Read that 12 and 10, Sirach.
Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as an iron rusteth, so is his wickedness.
Okay, so the Most High gave us clear understanding regarding what do we do in this particular scenario. Even though he's trying to present this grandiose idea about how he's going to save the earth, he's going to save all humanity, and he's going to make this great opportunity for everybody to live and be prosperous. And the Lord said, "Don't trust this demon. When he speaketh fear, what? Don't believe him." Here we go. Through the UN. This is their vision. In these goals and targets, we are setting out a supremely ambitious and transformational vision. We envision a world free of poverty, hunger, disease, and want, where all life can thrive. We envision a world free of fear and violence, a world with universal literacy, a world with equitable and universal access to quality education at all levels, to healthcare and social protection, where physical, mental, and social well-being are assured. A world where we reaffirm our commitments regarding the human right to safe drinking water and sanitation, where there is improved hygiene, and where food is sufficient, safe, affordable, and nutritious. A world where human habitats are safe, resilient, and sustainable, and where there is universal access to affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy. And if you believe that, I've got 10 acres on Mars for sale for cheap. And I'll get you a free flight on SpaceX if you believe he's willing to do it. This is the so-called white man out here talking about. This is everything that this whole Agenda 2030 is built around. And it's all about sustainable, save the earth, Green New Deal, green energy. We need to be good on uh, carbon emissions and so forth and so on, right? So I'm gonna stop sharing that because there's a whole lot to read on that, but I'm not gonna read it. Let me get back over to this PowerPoint.
He wants us to drink toilet water now.
See, now you spoiling stuff, man. Slow down. Slow down. See? As he said, he's gonna give us clean, safe drinking water, right? But like, again, who controls it? Under his control, he's gonna provide all these things. Is what he's trying to let us know. Jump over to Job, Job 12. Job 12. Let's read start at 6 and we're gonna read it.
The book of Job, chapter 12, and verse 6. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee.
So here we're seeing how the Most High is acknowledged. We're seeing how the wicked are prospering. Right. This is all things that we can readily witness and see. Now he said the tabernacles of robbers prosper. Did the so-called white man not steal lands, continents? Did he not colonize everything? And are they not prospering in their ways? The Lord said that the tabernacles of the robbers are prospering, and they that provoke the Most High are secure. Well, who else is provoking the Most High? We know the children of Israel provoked the Most High, and we're under damnation and cursing for it. But we see the so-called white man constantly provoking the Most High, and they're still secure. He hasn't been dethroned yet. He's not been taken out of any political any political offices. He can do no wrong. I mean, look at what's going on over there in Israel and Palestine, and we see everything that the Israeli soldiers, the IDF, are doing. They can do no wrong. Slaughtering innocent women, children, bombing the hell out of the place, bombing the hospitals, taking the food, taking the resources, shutting down healthcare, complete genocide going on over there. Allegedly, let me be clear before the YouTube says, "Oh, you being anti-S word." See, even that is protection. They doing whatever they want, and they are secure, right? The whole mantra of Israel has the right to defend itself. I mean, that's out the door. They're on the offense now. There's no defense. They are on the offense over there. But here they are. They're secure. I mean, the white man can do no wrong. Economies can crash. I mean, the stock market can plunder. What's he do? Print more money and float it right back up. Every time, $33 trillion in debt, and you can still say, give me more money. But as soon as you don't pay your credit card bill, oh, you got interest rates galore. You damn filing bankruptcy in the whole nine because you can't keep up with your bills. Penalties, interest rates, your credit rating goes down. Miss a couple of payments. And see when you hear that damn truck in the middle of the night scooping up your car. Because the repo man's coming in going, beep, beep, and wheeling off with your car. He's secure though. He can do everything in the opposite and he'd be fine. So it says, into whose hand the Most High bringeth abundantly. Read on.
Verse 7. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee.
Now, this is why we get to see a lot of these little viral videos, man, when the animals are attacking. Remember, they used to have a whole series and a whole video about when animals attack. Yeah. You didn't see a lot of them attacking no Jakes. They was attacking Esau, man, because they got sick of him. They get tired of him. You know, he put the animals in captivity on safari trails and zoos and everything else. Circuses, he got damn sea lions bouncing balls off their noses. He's defanging and declawing the tigers and lions in the cages, whipping them, got them jumping around doing tricks. And they like, we sick of him too. Read on.
or speak to the earth, and
Mhm.
it shall teach thee.
So the earth now we're seeing what we call it sinkholes popping up all over the place. We're seeing all of the so-called global warming with all of these weather anomalies is happening, and we can say, well, okay, well maybe that's art, maybe the white man's manipulating the weather, maybe so. Either way, the Most High said that the deceived and the deceiver are his, and he made the wicked for the day evil. So either way, we accredit the Most High, even if he is manipulating. He's making Esau do it. But either way, we do see that the earth now is in complete ruin. And it's speaking. It says that you can look up the information regarding the minerals and the suppositories coming from the earth are completely depleted. They're not even yielding up the righteous fruits and nutrients and minerals that it once did before. So the earth is even being deteriorated. The earth is even deteriorating. They're saying, man, the earth is going to tell us. And it said, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. So just in the last couple of weeks, I showed a couple of stories about millions of fish floating up on the seas and whales and all kind of stuff, man, being rejected from the seas now. I was over there in Japan the last one. They had to stop them damn Ammonites over there from eating them and scooping them up and selling them. They was like, hey, these things are contaminated. You don't want to be eating them things. They jacked up. And they said, oh, that's okay. We. That's we. No, we're not doing that. Read them.
Verse 9.
Mm-hmm.
Who knoweth not all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this?
Mm-hmm.
In whose hand is the soul of every living thing and the breath of all mankind? Does not thy ear try words, and thy mouth taste his meat? With the ancient is wisdom, and in the length of days understanding.
Right. That's all I needed from that. So here we are. We're seeing that these particular things are showing us where the so-called white man is putting it out there as if the problem is with human consumption, um, gas powered, this, that, and the third. I mean, he's the one that created all this stuff. He's the one destroying everything, and then says, "No, it's your fault because you're using what I gave you." That's the devil for you. Give me Micah 2:10. This is why we can't get too comfortable with everything that he lays out before us. I mean, we've got an affinity for the technology and everything that goes on with uh, the rechargeable, lithium batteries and all that. I mean, I'm sure some of y'all have seen those lithium mines where they got them Africans over there, man, by the thousands, sweatshopped out, digging digging up for the lithium so that they can try to maintain the iPhones and maintain the rechargeable battery stations and maintain, the Tesla cars. Yeah, all of that. We're talking pure oppression, man. But it's just all in alignment with him having advancements in the world, right? Micah 2:10.
Book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest.
This isn't where we're supposed to be getting comfortable. Oh, Agenda 2030! I can't wait. It sounds great. I mean, I'm going to have free food, free water. They're going to make sure that I'm got free education. Everything's going to be great. I'm going to have a great living space. This is what I wanted. The Most High said, no. First of all, don't trust your enemy. Second of all, when speaking fair, believe him not. Third of all, he's in contempt with the Most High, trying to be like him. Third of all, the Most High said, I didn't bring you over here so that you can be at rest. I brought you over here to be punished so that you can repent and we can get the heck up out of here and go back home. Read on.
Because it is polluted, it shall destroy you.
See, everything that we're going to look at today, man, is all polluted. He's trying to create this whole fake utopia about what he's going to be doing to save the earth. But it ain't going to be for everybody. What he wants to do is get rid of billions of us so that he can enjoy the earth for himself. Because that's the way of colonization. That's the mind of a colonizer. He goes and takes the resources, takes the land, makes it his own, kills and endangers the native populations that are there. And if they don't acquiesce to, change and Hellenization, in other words, they get put to death. So finish that up.
even with the sword destruction.
Even with a sword destruction. So America is going to be destroyed with the sword destruction, meaning a heavy destruction um, in the latter days. Go to Obadiah. Obadiah, you start at 1, read down to 5.
1 to 5.
Yeah.
Book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 1. The vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor of the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
So there's going to be a battle that ensues that's going to be taking place against Edom, against the so-called white man, against the red people, the red nation. Even when he throw that dang fake term out there, he said, "Oh, the Indians, those are the red nation." No, constantly trying to throw out this disinformation and throw people off. No, he's the red nation. He's the one whose blood shows forth through his skin. He's the one that is transparent. Read on.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised.
See, even the prime minister of Turkey, he said that all nations hate America. Now, this is everybody, all the nations, man. They tolerate China, North Korea. They tolerate having to deal with America because America runs the world, so they have to play nice. But now you see they're starting to get riled up. They don't care about America no more. They're not scared to speak up, and they're not scared to come up against America and their policies and diplomacies and speak out against their wickedness when it comes down to these wars and oppression and so forth and so on. They're taking a stand. Even their own people is coming up against them, like Russia. So it says he's made small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Read on.
The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Right. So in ancient times, them living in Mount Seir and Petra, and them living in the caves, the clefts of the rocks. Now, in translation, they're in the high-rise buildings. They're in the suites. They're in the upper levels of the offices. They're creating Empire State Buildings. And what's that big building in Chicago that they took down? The Sears Building, Sears Tower. He loves heights. He loves to look down upon everybody else as if he is the Most High, looking down from the third heaven. No, of course. See, you jumping ahead too, man. We read it in the 4th verse. Let's continue.
Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Break it down. Bring it up. Yeah, he exalts himself as the eagle. I mean, we've seen it from America to Rome. The eagle has always been his representation. A bird of prey that always looked for the weaker, the smaller, a predatory bird. So-called white man exalts himself as such. Right. Read on.
And though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
If these came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they have not stolen till they had enough?
See, Obadiah saying, look, even if a thief came to you and robbers by night, wouldn't they have stolen till they have enough? Like, how much more can you put in the bag? How much more can you drag up out of there before you're afraid that the police is going to come? The white man knows no bounds. He said, "What? There is no limit. I just take. I want more. I want more. So there's no limitation. So even when we're looking at this Agenda 2030, it's about him taking even more than what he's already been allotted. He wants it all. Read on.
If the grape gatherers come to thee, would they not leave some grapes?
He said even the grape gatherers will leave some. That was the law in Israel, man. We had to leave some. He said, Most High said, don't glean all the grapes. We're not supposed to completely strip all the resources down. We're supposed to still leave some for the poor. He said, if some fall on the ground, leave that for them. White man said, hell no. I can take advantage of that. I can sell that. I can eat that. I'm taking. Oh, you left a few. He's coming snatching up everything. Everything is what he wants. Proverbs 21:12.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 21, and verse 12.
Right.
The righteous man wisely considereth the house of the wicked, but God overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness.
See, this is one of my favorite scriptures, man. The Most High said that the wise man is going to consider the house of the wicked. So, yeah, I'm nosy. I want to see what do you got going on in there, man. What are you up to? So I can relate and give it back to my people, man, because the so-called white man is devious. And he knows how to cover his tracks. He knows how to change up terms. He knows how to switch up ingredients. He knows everything. And if you're not keeping up pace with him, you get lost in the sauce, man. We get completely overtaken. So it says, the righteous man wisely considered the house of the wicked, but the Most High overthroweth the wicked for their wickedness. So ultimately, although he's planning all these things and is actually implementing many of them as we speak, the Most High said he's going to ultimately be overthrown for their wickedness. Jump over to Psalm 37, and then we're going to get more into this powerful. Psalm 37. Let's read 30. Let's read 34 down to 38.
Book of Psalms, chapter 37, verse 34. Wait on the Lord and keep his way, and he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the wicked are cut off, thou shalt see it.
So the Most High said, even though the so-called white man thinks he's going to create a whole new agenda, he's got an agenda so he can take over all lands, he can take over all waterways, communications, everything. We're going to look at all of that in a minute. The Most High said, now, if we keep the ways of the Most High, we're going to inherit the land. That's when, people say, well, he's going to do all this. What are we supposed to do? The Most High tells us what to do. He said, if you keep my way, you're going to inherit the land. The Most High is not a man that he should lie. He said, fear God, keep his commandments. This is the whole duty of man. These are the things that we're supposed to be doing. As watchmen, we're supposed to go out, teach our people repentance, show our people their transgressions, wake our people up to the enlightenment of who they are, gather the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The Most High said that's what we're supposed to be doing. Scripture say, man, we're supposed to be occupied in prophecy. So we've been given instructions of what we're supposed to do. The Most High is going to do his part, so long as we're doing ours. Okay, so now it said, wait on the Lord, keep his way, and he will exalt thee to inherit the land. Even in Ephesians, 5? The Most High said, humble thyself, and he'll exalt us in due season. So we don't have to, there's not a lot of proactive things that we need to do outside of utilizing wisdom and knowledge to keep us stable during these times. And as this being revealed to us, the wisdom and the knowledge of sustainability for us in righteousness, and not according to his fake sustainability, is what's going to get us by in these last days. Continue on.
Verse 35. I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree.
See, this is what he's doing. The wicked's in great power, and he's trying to spread abroad. He wants to continue on in his wickedness. He wants to overlap what he's already established. Really?
Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not.
Yeah, he's going to be destroyed. The so-called white man and his whole regime and his whole fake democracy is going to be up out of here. Really?
Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found.
Really?
Mark the perfect man, and behold the upright, for the end of that man is peace.
See, the man that's keeping uprightness, meaning the laws and the commandments, moving towards perfection, striving for perfection, he said the end of that man is peace. So you want to know all hell's going to break loose, warfare, everything? The Lord said, you want peace? He said, strive for perfection. Strive to be upright. Will be preserved. Verse 38.
38. But the transgressors shall be destroyed together.
See, and we know the transgression, sin is transgression of the law. So as long as he's got his, church operatives out there running around talking about that the laws are done away with, and he keeps our people in transgression, that's why 2/3 are going to be destroyed. They're saying, come along with us. We've got self-sustainability. We've got a whole little green energy plan that's going to get you right on board with the whole new world. And don't worry about that Bible. Don't worry about that law. We've got a one world religion that you're going to subscribe to if you want to eat. we've got affordable housing that you can have so long as you are compliant with the program. And I'm gonna be careful how I word that because last time when we covered Revelation 13 and talked about the mark, that got flagged and they took it off. So I can't say too much, but y'all know where we going. Was that in the 38?
Nope.
Finish that up.
The end of the wicked shall be cut off.
And the end of the wicked is gonna be cut off. So although he's plotting and planning, he's gonna get cut off, right? So let's look at this. Um, this is what I wanted to pull out in regards to buzzwords. So when you're watching the news, you see a little article, you're wondering what are they talking about when you hear stuff like clean energy, zero emissions, Green New Deal. That was Slow Biden's big deal, right? When he first came in. We're going to have a Green New Deal. We're going to build back better. What doesn't something have to be destroyed first in order to build it back? So he's already acknowledging in my terms, I'm going to destroy a lot of things. Under him, now you see all the people that was running to the polls saying, F Trump, we want Biden. Remember, Slow Biden run out there. If you don't vote for me and you vote for Trump, you ain't black. Now everybody sit back saying, actually, F Biden. We don't want Biden. Biden lied to us. He told me my student debt's gonna get wiped away. He told me, I forgot how many dang lies. Yeah, he's up in the hundreds at this point, you know. But everything that he said was a complete lie. And it's coming out. So here we go. The White House announcement is peppered with Great Reset buzzwords like, quote, clean energy economy and zero emission housing, and echoes the agendas being pushed by the globalists. The Green New Deal, the Green Agenda, Build Back Better, the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the transhumanist movement. Transhumanist is pretty much, I covered this years ago, merging machine with human, essentially. Is what they're trying to accomplish. And the Great Reset, officially introduced by the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, and then Prince Charles in June of 2024, all exist to further and facilitate the implementation of Agenda 21. Agenda 21, or the Agenda for the 21st Century, is the inventory and control plan for all land, water, minerals, plants, animals, construction, means of production, food, energy, information, education, and all human beings in the world. So, in other words, if we're wondering what the New World Order is, I mean, everybody's heard that term and they already know it. That's why they switched it up and put a whole new thing. Oh, it's Agenda 21 now. It's Agenda 2030 now. Because now the New World Order, that just became a conspiracy term. So nobody wants to, acknowledge that anymore. That gets thrown around in movies and everything else. So nobody looks at it as serious. So they said, we're going to switch the name of that up, how we're going to control everything. And it's going to be the agenda for the 21st century. So it says that food, energy, information. Now, isn't that something that they're already controlling right now? What are all the platforms now have these community guidelines and everything else? If you say something, and the whole term disinformation now comes to a head if you say something that doesn't align with what they want the narrative to be. But what prior to the C-19 thing, was there really a heavy disinformation, channels getting canceled and the whole what they talk the whole little system about people being canceled before they were able to create a whole new agenda where there was this whole global thing that they had to create this agenda, this whole narrative. You could not say anything that went against that. Otherwise, according to guidelines, we got to strike the channel. According to guidelines, we got to cancel you. Oh, we got to push this LGBTQ plus thing. If you don't, align with this, you're going to get canceled. Your career is going to be over. Your job loss is going to be happening. Your ability to seek out and get jobs, everything starts coming around within the last 3 years. So this is where they're starting to push this whole agenda where information is controlled. Food, water, energy, everything's going to be controlled, right? It says the European Green Deal is more of the same, introduced by the European Commission in December of 2019, in part to replace fossil fuels with cleaner energy sources. Now look at this. These are all executive orders. Now, some may say, "Oh, wait a minute, that's we don't know if all of that is true or not." Before we, let me show you one of the websites I got this from. Let me stop here. Everybody's familiar with executive orders, right? Now, these are all executive orders that are presidential and can be utilized at any particular time that the president says, "We're in a crisis. I need to implement this." Now, first of all, here's just an example of one. This is from 1962. Uh, Good old JFK introduced Executive Order 10999, which is what? Assigning emergency preparedness functions to the Secretary of Commerce. By virtue of the authority vested in me as President of the United States. You see the date, 1962. By virtue of the authority vested in me as President of the United States, including authority vested in me by Reorganization Plan Number 1 of 1958, 72 Statistics 1799. It is hereby ordered as follows. So, what is this executive order that's still on the table? I think it got reenacted or co signed by Obama and has continued on. So, it's still in effect. Let me see real quick. Uh, Now, this here says it covers the development and coordination of over all policy plans and procedures for the provision of a centralized control, keyword centralized control of all modes of transportation in an emergency for the movement of passenger and freight traffic of all types and the determination of the proper apportionment and allocation of the total civil transportation capacity or any portion thereof to meet overall essential civil and military needs. So, translation, if all hell breaks loose, they have an executive order that's already signed. All they got to do is pop out and say, "We control all modes of transportation. The seizing your vehicle, buses, trains, planes, everything is under government and military control." So there isn't going to be any freedom of, oh, you do what you want to do. You know, when people are hungry and Second Extra 15 kicks in and sedition among men, civil, race war, civil war. That's why they tease us with, Civil War movies coming out next year and all this other stuff. So when that starts going down, they already got the plans in place. So when martial law gets kicked in, they've already got everything lined up to say, well, we can control everything as it pertains to transportation.
Does that mean golf carts and middle schoolers and everything?
Everything. Where are you going to drive it to? Look, federal emergency operation responsibilities with respect to highways, roads, streets, bridges, tunnels, and appertaining to highway traffic regulation, allocation of air carrier aircraft for essential military and civilian operations, ships in coastal and intercoastal use, and ocean shipping, ports and port facilities. So you said, well, I'm buying the boat. I'm sailing up. You're gonna have to dock somewhere. Your boat is laid up in some dock that you're paying rent for every month to make sure that you can get up out of there. When they seize that and say that, oh yeah, that yacht that you thought was gonna be, you can't use that.
So it don't matter whether you have a driver's license or a passport, right?
Eventually, it will, because there's gonna be a qualified one you can use if you want to be part of the system.
Hmm.
You ain't got that one. You can't use it. No. Intercoastal use and of ocean shipping ports and port facilities in the St. Lawrence Seaway. Now, let me get down to the real. Look at this. The production and distribution of all materials, the use of all production facilities, the control of all construction materials, furnishing of basic industrial services, except the following: production and distribution and the use of petroleum, solid gas, electric power, production, processing, distribution, and storage of food resources, and the use of food resource facilities for such production, processing, distribution, and storage. Um, so we can see here that he's already lined up how to just control our ability to travel. In the event that things go left, or you don't agree with the direction that they're getting ready to put everybody in, he's saying it doesn't matter if you agree or not. This is what it's going to be, and if you don't like it, you're going to deal with the consequences. So, in this particular executive order, give me Psalms 94 and 20 as we look at some of these. That was just one, right? Executive 10990 allows the government to take over all modes of transportation and control the highways and seaports. 10995 allows the government to seize and control the communication media. 10997 allows the government to take over all of the electrical power, gas, petroleum, fuels, and minerals. So these are proposed executive order, because I know they got the fact checkers out there. You know, Esau got the little bots out there. That's not true. It's not literally, you know. This is allegedly, let's put it that way, the executive order. We just got to seeing through JFK that, yeah, he's already lined these things up. But see, they play semantics. If you say something that doesn't mean everything, so that's fake news. We got to cut him up. So allegedly, these are executive orders that could be enacted at any time. How about that? Okay, believe it if you want.
So what if you inherited oil property or something from your foreparents? You still out of law.
I think you probably want to just keep listening. We'll find out if there's an answer to that. You're gonna find out in a minute. Don't worry. I just want to make sure they can hear you, because otherwise it sounds like. Yeah, 11004 allows the Housing and Finance Authority to relocate communities, build new housing with public funds, designate areas to be abandoned, and establish new locations for population. Oh, okay. 11001 allows the government to take over all health, education, and welfare functions. Executive 10999 allows the government to take over all food resources and farms. Go ahead and read that. Psalms 94:20.
Book of Psalms, chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee?
Right. Should we be in fellowship with this iniquity? Shall we be in fellowship and saying, oh, this is great. Finally, they can control everything in my life. They can force me down the path of wickedness and unrighteousness and lead me astray from the word of the Lord. I'm going to side with the evil as opposed to siding with the good. Is that what the Most High wants us to do? The Lord said no. Continue on.
Which frameth mischief by a law?
See, they framing mischief via laws. This is all mischief. Because once they line all these things up and they come in and they say here, it's almost like what do they call it? The frog in the pot. You drop the frog in the pot, man, you turn the water on. He's thinking he's in, he's in his own little in his own little environment. And he's in his kingdom until that water starts getting a little hot. And before you know it, he's cooked. And ain't no jumping out. He's slowly burning, slowly bubbling. Give me Isaiah 10. Isaiah 10, and let's read 1 and 2. Slowly in there getting bubbled up, man, because why? He's in a pot of mischief.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 10 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed.
See, when they sign up these executive orders, man, this is all grievousness. These are unrighteous decrees. These are all things that aren't biblically based. These are things that he's signing up for to try to extend his power. Right? Read on.
To turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of the people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
See, that's clear. He says so that he can make widows be their prey. Meaning, what? He got to destroy the men. He's going to ravish the women, as he's always done. What is the what good was Section 8 and EBT and everything else when it came down to destroying the household? When he said, "I can come in, I'll be white daddy. I'll be daddy for you, black woman, Hispanic woman. Don't worry about it. As long as that Negro, that man ain't in that house, I'll make sure that you paying, $100 rent. I'll make sure that them kids is fed. I'll make sure that you got Medi-Cal and your medical coverage is taken care of. But as soon as I find out you cheating on me and you bringing that man in the house, oh, I'm cutting you off. And I'm coming back and getting all the dang money I gave you." See, that's how he's going to make widows their prey. Because now you can't tell the sister, get up off of that system, get out, get independent, be self-sufficient, take care of your kids. I mean, we get it. Everybody's situation is different. Sometimes you need them situations to fall back on. But when you become completely dependent upon a man, now you're that frog in the pot. All right, so let's continue on over here. I'm about to pick up the pace. So Winston Churchill says, and we've heard this echoed from the likes of Rahm Emanuel and various other political figures, to say, never let a good crisis go to waste. Give me Sirach 11. Sirach 11. This is how the so-called white man establishes his. When we're talking about what's known as a new world order, it's what? Order out of chaos. So he needs to create a chaotic environment so that he can present order. They call it the Hegelian dialectic as well, which is problem, reaction, solution. He wants to create a problem to incite a reaction out of people. And then he double back and says, I've got the solution. And the solution ain't always good. So when he creates the problem, he's going to create and incite all type of chaos. He's the one that's going to be behind the famines, the rate, the economy collapsing, the land seizures. He's already got a law that's called civil asset forfeiture. And civil asset forfeiture means he can take your stuff from you if he even suspects it was attained through criminal acts. If you get pulled over and you got $10,000 on you, and you says, "Where'd you get this money from?" And you say, "Man, it's my money. I just got it out the bank." Or where? How did you get this money? What about? You know what? I'm gonna need to seize this because I smell weed in the car. I'm assuming that you're selling weed. And you know how hard it is to get that $10,000 back? You can forget about it. That thing is tied up in the courts. That's how the police are seizing boats and planes and trains from so-called quote unquote drug dealers. They're riding around seizing money. It's already established in the law that they can do that type of stuff. Now they're going to do it on a grand scale, where they take your property, your farms, your homes, everything else, and then create a whole little oppressive utopia and saying, "Here, come back over here and live this way under my rules, my control, everything else."
Not to mention, he planted the weed.
A lot of times that happens. A lot of times. Sirach 11:14.
Verse 14.
Come.
Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord.
See, the Most High is in control of prosperity, adversity, life, and death. White man says, never let a good crisis go to waste. He creates all these crises, and then he says, I'm going to prosper up off of it. Again, him trying to be like the Most High. Where everything comes from the Most High, he's saying, well, I'm the one that can turn a crisis into something good. I'm the one that can actually make things right. No, you can't do that. Look at it. Here's another guy, Maurice Strong. And Maurice Strong, he's a Canadian oil, or he was. He died in 20. I think it was 2015, either 2005 or 2015, one of the two. But he's a Canadian cat, man. He was a served under the Secretary General of the UN. So you see him at the microphone. What did we just read earlier at the beginning of the class was the document from the UN regarding Agenda 2030. Here's the representative, or here was one of the representatives before the Most High smote him and took him off the map. Maurice Strong, here's one of his quotes. He says, "We may get to the point where the only way of saving the world will be for an industrial civilization to collapse." So they're in their own words saying that the only way that they can quote unquote build back better, the only way that they can have a quote great reset, as we've been hearing buzzwords for the last 3-4 years, is everything has to collapse. So this is why you're hearing rumors about, oh, there's going to be a stock market collapse, there's going to be an economic collapse, a real estate collapse, commercial real estate collapse. These are all things that they want to destroy so that they can build back. Once they destroy it, it's going to destroy everybody's lives and their livelihoods and how they think their future is going to be. You can forget about uh, even like retirement. When they established the retirement Social Security, it was based upon the lifespan of an individual. So it wasn't always 67. It was down in like 50s at one point in time. But as man keep, extending life, they was like, oh, we got to back this up. Because otherwise they got to pay out all of that money that they've been, stealing and snatching up off of our checks every 2 weeks. And they like, we're actually having to pay this stuff out now. Extended back. It was 65 a few years ago. Now they're 67. Now they're talking about they want to push it up to 70. In other words, they don't want to pay you no retirement. Can you imagine working till you 70, man? That's unbelievable. In order for them to say, finally, you made it to your final stretch, man. Now you're gonna get $2,000 a month, which you won't be able to survive when that time hits, because people can't survive out that now. So imagine in the future when everything is escalated from price, inflation, everything else. You telling somebody in their 70s or late 60s, here's what you got to survive off of now. 401k, that's tied up in the stock markets. They're gambling with our money in there. Something go wrong, 401k get wiped away. It ain't insured. It ain't like, oh yeah, you're backed up. Don't worry about it. It's tied up in the stocks. It goes as they control it. So when they collapse and they shut down everything, the only way they're going to say is, oh well, if you want to come back in, here's the new system that we got. You want to be able to buy and sell? Well, here, this is how you got to be able to do it. You got to accept a certain way of life if you want to be a part of this whole new little utopia. So good old Maurice Strong lets it be known. The only way they're going to quote save the world, because they're going to say it's for your own good. Hey, we're the good guys in this thing, man. We're destroying the earth. We're destroying everything. We're destroying civilizations, economies, households, everything else. But don't worry. We have the ability to rebuild. We've got a whole agenda lined up. This is a whole nother little article. They're talking about homeownership being the thing of the past. I'm not gonna read all this because it's a lot to get into, but I'll just read the first few, first few sentences, just to kind of get the idea of where they're going with this. Privately owned housing will become a thing of the past. I mean, in real honesty, does anybody really own their home? They sign you up for 30-year mortgages, right? And a lot of times they coerce people into refinancing and doing these HELOC loans, home equity loans, you borrowing against your equity and turn it into credit cards and constantly keeping us in a loop of debt. And even if you bought your house in 1965 and you finally paid it off, you stayed the course, and 95 you finally own a home. Uncle Sam said, "But you know that land that it's on, that's mine. You got to pay me some taxes every year. Don't you want to remodel? Don't you want to fix it up? I mean, your house still looks like it's from 1965. So how many times has somebody took some equity out, refinance, and added on to their homes, and now, oh, we'll add that onto the back of your no. Don't worry. Nobody really owns their homes anymore. Man. If you do, you still ain't an owner because you still got to pay taxes on it. It's nothing is our own, man. The white man's got this whole thing rigged. to where you with the illusion of you're a homeowner. You know when they you sign the papers and all that, and the bank and the realtor says, "Hey, congratulations, you're finally a homeowner." Like you don't have to pay that mortgage every month, and if you don't, the bank ain't taking that thing back. You don't own it. It's a damn illusion to make it sound like, oh, I'm finally a homeowner. Yeah, we saved up for the last 20 years. We finally got the home, and the bank is like, really, it's ours if you don't pay. And don't let something go wrong. Don't let something go wrong in the economy, and something go wrong where they gotta, adjust interest rates and everything. Tax payment. I mean, we see how it works, man. And the curse will tell us that anyway. See, once Israel, once we realize the curses, it's like it's no real slap in the face or shock to us. We already know he's in control of everything. He's gonna be the tail. He's gonna lend to us. We're not gonna lend to him. Everything all falls in alignment. We understand it better. It's like the pill is big. It's easier for us to swallow because we learned it was because of our transgression that we're in this whole position anyway. Rest of the world and the ones who sleep who don't understand it at all, they're gonna get kicked upside the head with steel toe boots, man, to wake them up. So it says privately owned housing will become a thing of the past. The cost of housing and financing housing would gradually be made so high that most people couldn't afford it. As we're seeing right now with the interest rates already for homeowners, I think it's like 6 or 7%. And that's if you've got like 30% or 20% to put down and your credit is above 700. If you're coming in there struggling with, high 600s or low 700s and you only got 10% to put down, you're probably going to get 10, 15% interest on your home.
And no more mineral.
Yeah, I mean, some places here in California they tell you you can't collect rainwater, you uh can't what are they talking about? Can't cut trees down. I mean, all kind of matters. So they already got these side laws in here, man, where you really don't own anything. They control and tell you what you can and can't do anyway. You can't have gardens in certain places. It's like, what are you talking about? Because they don't want you to have self sustainability. So it says people who already own their houses would be allowed to keep them, but as years go by, it would be more and more difficult for young people to buy a house. Young people would be more and more become renters, particularly in apartments and condominiums. More and more unsold houses would stand vacant. Most people couldn't buy them. So if we continue reading on, this article is going to pretty much establish where we're going to see where we're at right now. Here's 3 articles alone. Give me Isaiah 5 and 8. 3 articles alone that we can attest. Are they on track with this agenda or not? Here's the first. JP Morgan is about to spend $1 billion on hundreds of rental homes across the U.S. on the way to becoming a mega land. JP Morgan is one of the biggest banks in the world, let alone the country. They're out buying up all of the real estate that people defaulted on, people had to uh, uh, not repossess. What they call it when you lose your house? Foreclosures. The foreclosures. They're buying up land where they're building up these little. I seen a video, man. This cat, he was in Texas, 10 Tribe Cat. And he did an advertisement for a tiny home. There's a whole little neighborhood of them. And he went in the house, and I think the house may have been, I don't know, 600 square feet, something like that. And he was just like, if you're ready for a tiny home and if you want to pay $1,000 a month, I'm your realtor here in Texas. Come see me. And it almost looked like a dollhouse. But they had a whole like strip full of them. When you see them communities like in Palmdale and Lancaster and all the houses look the same, and you can reach out and stand there, touch your neighbor's window. Like that's the type of stuff that they're out here building, right? So here, JP Morgan spending $1 billion on rental homes. Wall Street has purchased hundreds of thousands of single family homes since the Great Recession. Here's what that means for rental prices. So the Great Recession is going all the way back to the time when the health crisis was starting off. And even prior to that, with 2008, yep, under Obama, when they had the recession, yeah, '08, and he had the banks is too big to fail. He bailed out all the banks and all that, so they can come in and do this. Here you have investment giants buying America's home: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. You want to know the axis of evil, if using the Star Wars reference? Well, BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street are big real estate investors. They pretty much are the money behind politics and everything else. They're buying up all these homes and buying up all these properties in America. As we just got to reading before, they want everybody to be renters. Everybody's going to be subservient. Everybody's going to be required to go along with a particular program or system if you want to live and survive. Right? Give me Isaiah 5 and 8. Yeah.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 5, and verse 8. Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed along the midst of the earth.
So it says, "Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field." Meaning what? These are the ones who are going out, establishing and building up, buying up these homes. Let me. Sometimes we do little translation comparisons, right? In the NLT, what's it say? I read it before, but it said, let me read it to make it a little more plain. Uh, Now the NLT says, "What sorrow for you who buy up house after house and field after field until everyone is evicted, and you live alone in the land." Which is what the KJV says: "Woe unto them that join house to house, that lay field to field, till there be no place, that they may be placed alone in the midst of the earth." So, in other words, what the white man wants to buy up and take up everything, so that it's all his. Nobody else can share this so-called earth with him anymore, right? So this is why he's talking about. Well, when you're hearing uh, food, end of poverty, education, that ain't for us. That's what he's trying to create for him and the elites that will control the subservient remaining that have all decided to join hands with the beast. Just, um, was that it? 8? Okay, now jump over to Nehemiah. Nehemiah.
About this show that come on BT plus Blackhampton.
Blackhampton.
Yeah,
I've never seen it. Okay.
never seen that, but that's what you're talking about. That's what's going on in the Blackhampton.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I just started watching it the day before yesterday.
Art imitating life, or is it the truth? Unbelievable. Nehemiah 5. And let's read one down to 5. Because this is, we try to relate it to the scriptures, and we're saying, well, when have we been put in situations similar to this before? Right? Go ahead and read that.
Book of Nehemiah, chapter 5, and verse 1. And there was a great cry of the people, and there was wives against their brethren, the Jews. For there were that said, We, our sons and our daughters, are many. Therefore we take up corn for them, that we may eat and live. Some also that said, We have mortgaged our lands, vineyards, and houses, that we might buy corn because of the dearth.
So there's a famine going on. Many of our people during the time we were, allowed to get back into building the temple again, there was still strife going on amongst the land and amongst the Persians and the Medes. Tribute was still being taken up, but there was a famine. People were struggling to eat, and they were talking about, well, look, we're having problems, feeding our sons and our daughters, it said, because we can't even get enough corn for them to eat and live. So when Yahweh Simon told us that there's going to be famines, plagues, pestilences, these things are going to all happen during the times prior to his coming. We're seeing these things was happening back in the days too, right? So it said that they even had to mortgage their lands just because of the famine. So when people are having to give up their homes because they need to survive, I mean, we're seeing that already right now. High rent prices, people homes being foreclosed on. A lot of the college students and people that went out to be independent. There's articles all over the place talking about people moving back home with their parents, moving back home with roommates and everything else because they can't afford to live out here no more. They're creating this whole environment where it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. And what he said, oh, well, I'll just get another job, killing ourselves just to live. You working 2 and 3 jobs, you can't even enjoy your home. You paying rent just to go there and sleep and then go back to work. That's what they lining this whole thing up for. So it says, sons and daughters, people having to mortgage their lands, vineyards, and houses that we might buy corn because of the dirt. So they're mortgaging off their houses, selling off their houses just so they can eat and survive. Same thing we're seeing here. Remember we just got to reading it said earlier? Uh Home ownership a thing of the past. This is what they're trying to get everything lined up for.
Don't they have a scheme called reverse mortgage? After you pay for your house, you can take out money on your house, but after you die, they want that money back.
Yeah, I think so.
And whoever you done willed it to, if they can't pay it,
They
they take the house.
They take the house.
So this is set up. Yeah, we'll give you this money, but after you die, whoever you inherit,
Right.
you got to pay us back. If they can't pay it, we get the property.
Yeah.
Unless you open up one of those, what you call trust, reverse,
Irrevocable.
Irrevocable trust. See, that's the whole game.
Wow.
And then white man still wants them debt. You die, you still in debt. He still want that money. It's like you ain't even absolved the debt in debt. By the time he still want money. Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know you're gonna go Psalm 49:11 because it's a portion in 49:11 that tells you they want to do this
Throughout the generation. Oh, that's right.
Throughout.
We're gonna read that one after this.
Oh.
When we read down to 5, and then we'll go to Psalms.
Verse 4. There were also that said, we have borrowed money for the king's tribute, and that upon our lands and vineyards.
See, borrowing money for the king's tribute, constantly being in debt, borrowing the money. I mean, they're talking about credit card usages is up to all-time highs now. People filing bankruptcies is up. What do you call it? Repossessions is up. I mean, everybody is leveraging their lives just to live. Same thing was going on back then. Read on.
Yet now our flesh is as the flesh of our brethren, our children as their children. And lo, we bring into bondage our sons and our daughters to be servants, and some of our daughters are brought unto bondage already. Neither is it in our power to redeem them, for other men have our lands and vineyards.
See that? That's what ends up happening. Everything gets mortgaged off all the way down to where we become servants and slaves, which is what they want. I mean, but go back to Joseph. Joseph had the game plan locked down from back then. Joseph had the 7 years of famine and the 7 years of plenty. 7 years during the plenty, he saved up and was ready to go. And then when the famine kicked in, everybody and their mama was coming to Egypt saying, "We're hungry. What can we get?" So they was buying the corn first, buying the grains first. When the money ran out, they started selling off their livestock. When that was gone, they mortgaged off their lands. This is about last thing left. They said, "Well, all we got left is our bodies." And Joseph said, "Come on in, you're gonna be servants." Servants, that's our world. And that's exactly what the so-called white man. He looked at the game plan. He said, "Oh, that's how it works. Okay, you take everything from him." Let's read that Psalm 49:11.
Book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11.
Their
Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever.
See, that's their inward thought. Remember, the Most High said, "My thoughts are not your thoughts." He even told us that, so you know it applies to the heathen. But their thoughts is, we're going to reign forever, and this is how we're going to do it. They've got to switch up the game plan. They got to switch up everybody's mentality and thinking what the expectation is. And then he's gonna come in and sweep everybody out their feet. Finish that up.
and their dwelling places to all generations.
Mm-hmm.
They call their lands after their own names.
Right. And their dwelling places to all generations. Right. Absolutely. So let me speed it up a little bit, and we're gonna keep going. So we see here he's already on the move, buying up everything. People losing their homes, losing everything. He's buying up land. He's redeveloping. He's going to create everybody being indebted to him. Nothing but renters, right? Hedge funds have invaded the housing market. A new bill would ban them. So you got these private equity hedge funds, these money managers over here in Wall Street and all that. They're buying up properties. They're trying to create a quote unquote monopoly on the block. I mean, we see it's a game, but it's not really a game, man. This dude's really playing it like that. And they're trying to create a new bill to stop him, but it ain't gonna happen because if you're dealing with politics and everything else, the hedge funds and these private donors are the ones who's pushing all of these bills forward, lining the pockets of the politicians, saying, "Here, sign off on this, get this done. We're gonna, give you this money for your next campaign or your next fundraiser. You got a nice little envelope coming as long as you do what we need." And that's how it works. So hedge funds, private equity firms, and investment trusts have been snatching up single-family homes all around the country for years, creating concern that homeowners themselves will be pushed even further out of the market. But a sweeping new bill introduced by U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley and Washington Representative Adam Smith would, if enacted as written, essentially ban such corporate investors from the practice moving forward. So they're trying to stop it, but it ain't looking good. All right. You got two people out of a whole damn Congress trying to stop this thing. They're gonna get outvoted. It ain't happening. Right. Look at it. Biden administration focuses on converting commercial properties to residential use in a new affordable housing study. Now, if Slow Biden was really so concerned about affordable housing, all he got to do is look at San Francisco, L.A., New York. All of you can't go nowhere without seeing somebody in a tent. You really concerned about homelessness and everything? You could have been got these people up off of here and got them in these little homes. But it's affordable, so he's creating a new home for money, right? Give me Habakkuk chapter 2. We're gonna read 6 down to 12. Habakkuk 2 and start at 6. 2 start at 6. That one that throws you off.
That's the one I don't be
Hey,
in
the
that
name
too
of
much.
Habakkuk, that guy. Oh snap!
Yeah.
Habakkuk.
All right. Book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that laddeth himself with thick clay.
So the Most High said, "Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his." Most High said, "Man, destruction is coming to him that has got something that does not rightfully belong to him." Who's he talking to? You guys write down Sirach 21 and 8. The Most High, acknowledge the what he talked about building a house with other men's money. Right. So Sirach 21 and 8, write that one down, and then Baruch 3 and 8 also tells us about us being subject to payments. But this is where the Most High said, "Woe to him that increasing that which is not his." It says, "How long?" And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. The thick clay is debt. When he creates this environment where, as long as you owe me, I'll never be broke type of thing. That's what the so-called white man lines it up with, right? So here you see Okay, continue reading, and then I'm gonna show you something.
Verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them?
Mm-hmm.
Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein.
See, this is where we're seeing things like Revelation 17, 16, Obadiah, where it talks about all the men that were confederate with the so-called white man are going to turn against them. Revelation 17 says that the ten horns are going to hate the whore. He said, why? Because he spoiled many nations. Ezekiel, I think it's 25, it said he made all the nations drink of the wine of the wrath of his fornication. All the nations are going to turn against him. And that's judgment from the Lord. Read.
Verse 9. Woe to him that covereth an evil covetousness to his house.
So is this not an evil covetousness where he's out here basically saying, I'm going to buy up and take up and steal everything that I can, all the land, all the single family owners, everybody's going to be indebted to me. I'm going to be the sole controller and ruler. I'm going to regulate what you can eat, what you can drink, how far you can travel. You see these things already playing out. I showed y'all last week the video in New York where they already telling them they got to pay tolls just to drive to work. What was it, $15 a day if you got a regular car, up to 30 something dollars a day if you got a truck, just to drive to work, let alone what you can drive. As they're talking about already, we're getting rid of gas powered cars and gas this that, and the third. See, this is everything he's trying to lie. But the Lord said, woe to him that covereth with an evil covetousness to his house. Read.
That he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil.
Go ahead.
Thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul.
See, this is the so-called white man. He's cutting off many people and sinning against his own soul. So when you wonder where and why he's going to be ultimately judged and what sins that he's going to have to pay for, all of these evils of covetousness, so forth and so on, man, he's got to pay for all of it. Continue on.
For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer.
See, even through the constructions and the things that he's doing, they're all going to attest to him. Read 12.
Woe to him that buildeth the town with blood.
How was America established? Read.
And establish a city by iniquity.
So he's built a town. He's built this whole place on the bloodshed of the Israelites, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, man. The indigenous populations he invaded, colonized, killed, raped, slaughtered, and oppressed. And then he says, now that I've got it, I'm going to establish it and sustain it through iniquity and wickedness. Built it all up just to say, okay, well, you know what? LGBTQ plus HIV, they've got the same rights or more than you so-called Negroes have been over here for over 400 years. Pork is the other white meat. Eat that. Everything he set up is built upon iniquity. First hired, last fired, affirmative act, everything else he's lined up through iniquity. Just like we talked about before, civil asset forfeiture, framing mischief by law, all of these executive orders. These are all things, man, that the so-called white man has been established. Even when it comes down to voting, Negro want to celebrate so much about our ability to vote, especially next year. What is it? I think they have in the law that the right to vote has to be it's 25 years, right? Every 25 years, the Right to Vote Act has to be re-signed by the president. Because eventually, they're gonna cut it off. It's not even gonna make a difference. The Negro out here thinking, oh, we finally got the right to vote, man. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, everybody fought for the right. White man said, this is stipulated that I can cut it off at any particular time. I think the last person who signed it was George Bush in the late 90s, or it might have been Baby Bush. One of the two. But it's coming up. I think it's either 2024 for this election or something. But I don't recall. I don't think Slow By. I don't think he re-signed it. But not to say that it's gonna matter. But either way, that's just a fun fact that Even the ability to vote, white man says, I can if I don't sign this, you ain't voting no more. Simple as that. Right? But the Lord said, woe to him that is build a town with blood, establish it with iniquity. Right? Um, here's another one. US banks could get slammed with another 160 billion in losses as commercial real estate faces its biggest crash since 2008. Remember, from the beginning, I made mention of that health issue the last 3 years did a whole lot of damage to the economy, private business owners, commercial real estate. Uh, you know, a lot of businesses are closing up shop when they had the work from home thing going on. These companies were paying these commercial properties rent every month to have these office spaces. Now nobody's there. They're not paying on them things no more. They're losing them businesses. They're not reinvesting. Big buildings up in San Francisco. They just got foreclosed on. So when we see in here that Biden is focusing on commercial properties for residential use, and then we're seeing that there's been the biggest commercial real estate collapse since 2008. Is that coincidental?
Hell no.
It's all planned. So if you're saying all of a sudden now that there's all these commercial real estate buildings available out of nowhere, oh, the business is just falling on hard times. I wonder why. And then you double back and say, okay, well, guess what I'm going to start doing? We can't let a good crisis go to waste. We're going to use these buildings for affordable housing. We're going to shove you in these little these little holes that you're going to pay outrageous prices for to live. Here's that Habakkuk. When you look at that word thick clay, it means heavy debt. It means debt or pledge. So when we read it in context, what it says, shall not these that take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increases that which is not his. So we know he's stolen and robbed and colonized everything that wasn't his. Most I said, for how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. So here he is being sustained through heavy debts and payments. Everybody, oh, if we're talking from credit cards to bank loans to mortgages to how's he sustain himself through heavy debts, thick clay. So that's how the so-called white man establishes himself. So let's move on. Now, when they're talking about utilizing these little commercial spaces, there's one thing too. You see a lot of things trending in regards to the tiny home movement and van life and everything else. That's still kind of systematic thinking and controlled what was considered like controlled opposition to where you'll be comfortable in these little mouse traps that they got to watch it. You'll be comfortable in here. Don't worry about it. So here's some articles that's already being shown forth. Maybe underground sleeping pods in a mission aren't a bad idea after all. So office space is now being talked about. This article was like from 2-3 years ago. And they're already talking about people living in these little sleeping pods and all of that. I mean, remember the Matrix? Everybody got their little pods they living in. Of the 219 units, micro housing developer Mark Esley of Esley Partners LLC wants to build in the Mission District 65. Of them will be underground sleeping pods renting between $1,000 to $1,375. And why not? Underground space is typically used for storing items, cars, and bikes. So amid a housing crisis brought on by an influx of startups, problematic progressive policies, and NIMBY toxicity, using subterranean methods to store people isn't the worst idea ever. Did you store people?
Put you in a nest underground.
Underground pods is where they want you, and you're gonna pay anywhere from 1,000, and that's probably if you got certain amenities in there. 1,000 is bare minimum. 1,375. Oh, okay. You probably got a toilet in there. If not, it is what it is. Yeah, and they already got them in New York, and them little stores, apartments they living in over there, and there's one community bathroom for a whole floor of people. They already living like that over there. So here's the example. You see this guy. He's got his little. I mean, barely got a dang refrigerator. And they say, "Oh, this is cool." Less is more. But this is where they want everybody in these little storage containers. Here's another. And they're already doing it in China, Japan. They already, crammed up in these little sardine boxes. Uh, really?
One for the 134 pig, and then they got it up to 110. I don't know if y'all see them.
Oh, yeah. That's what they built. These little, yeah. Well, the tiny homes, the container homes, everything. It's so trendy. It's so nice. So they make everybody feel as though this is all you need. You don't need all of that. I mean, they living on top of each other. Look at this. Now this is luxury right here. This probably get no. The next the next one, he's in luxury. Yeah. Now that in New York probably about $2,000-$3,000, about $2,000 to live like that. Look at it. The tiniest apartment in San Francisco is just 161 square feet and will cost you over $2,200 a month. There you have it. San Francisco is home to the most expensive rental market in the country. Business Insider Hillary Hoffauer reported in May that the typical rent in San Francisco exceeds $4,500, which is more than 2.5 times the typical national rent. The city is so outrageously expensive that some people are dishing out $1,200 a month for bunk beds in co-living buildings to save on rent. That's what I'm saying. This is the type of stuff that they out here doing. This is part of the article. The save on rent, you're gonna pay $1,200 to live on a bunk bed, and you cohabitating with somebody. You probably got 4 people living up in there at $1,200 a month, and that's in San Francisco. And this was a 2019 article, so it's more expensive now. Now you see why homeless people is all over the streets, man. Dope fiends all over the place. They ain't living in them places, so they like the hell with it. We're gonna post up on the street. We can't afford it. And the only time they're gonna clean it up is when they got some big old, political meeting coming on like they had with the Asian Pacific Economy Group that came up there a month ago. They cleaned it up for that. Other than that, you forget about it. My sister lived up there. She was like, "Man, this thing is ran down. It's all jacked up." But this is what they're doing. For $2,295 a month, you can rent a 161 square foot studio in a swanky downtown neighborhood. You see how they try to make you in the best place. You downtown in the swanky, trendy area. That's how they sell it to them. California has banned the sale of new gasoline-powered vehicles by 2035. Can it get there? They already banning all the gas-operated equipment, but 2025. No. I'm saying they stopping the sales of them now because they don't want people hoarding them and thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna just keep mine anyway." But 2025, I think, is when they actually are banning them, where you can't even have them.
Yeah, they got the thing in Detroit where the streets now to get you to go electric cars. They're putting electric in the streets where you can drive your electric car on the street and you don't have to go to these stations to charge it up. It'll charge while it's driving on the street or when you're parking.
Interesting.
In Detroit, and that's just like a test.
Yeah, test. Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, but this is how you'll be able to be, transported around in the little 15-minute cities that they trying to line up to banning you from having gas cars. You can't have a generator, a gas powered what do you call it? Lawnmower, leaf blower, a scooter. You see these Jay riding around these little bikes with their little gas power. Them things is about it here. So they trying to really create this whole little gas free zone. Right. So here, GM sets the goal of offering electric only vehicles by 2035, going carbon neutral by 2040. They all lining it up. Toyota starts building a smart city with self-driving cars, robots, and AI homes. So if we're wondering if robots and AI is taking over, we see the new hype now is AI. They got a whole robot McDonald's in Texas, where it's all completely ran by robots now. I mean, some of these fast food places they got kiosks where all you do is type on things and they taking your order, and you get people out there talking about welcome to McDonald's. That's out of here. You ain't gonna be have that job no more. That's replacement. Smart cities. Everything's gonna be QR code based, and your phone and your chip uh is all gonna be based on that. That technology is already there.
He's building now. You don't have any key or keys this small.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You see some of the Teslas. You open up the car with your phone. You scan your phone, and that opens up the car. Volvo's on board. So who we see? Toyota, Volvo, GM, all the companies, all the cars is falling in line. All right. Now the cold part is this. Look, now scientists say breathing. I brought this article out I think a week or so ago. Breathing is bad for the environment. So when we're talking about complete population control, they're saying that, there's too many of you people out here breathing. It's bad for the environment. What's that mean? We got to get rid of you to save the earth. We got to get rid of you.
I'll train you how to hold your breath for a long time.
Get good look on that. Now you notice most of this they're talking about is carbon emissions. Human body is at least 18, I think, percent carbon. CO2 is what we breathe out and all that, the nitrogen. I think carbon is the second most important element in our body. So when they're saying we need to control the carbon, you, me, we included in that. It ain't just because the cows are farting and your car is driving too much gas. It's population control where we get rid of those who are quote unquote destroying our earth. The earth has been given into the hand of the wicked. If we want to save and preserve it, we got to get rid of some of these useless eaters, as they call it. Right? So now scientists say breathing is bad for the environment. Gases we exhale contribute to 0.1% of the UK's greenhouse gas emissions. Listen to your boy, William Gates.
Oh yeah, he had mine.
That's why I said they're gonna be mad, but hey.
What?
Go to, you want to get to 0, and that's going to be based on the number
CO2.
of
That's
people,
carbon.
the services,
Hold on, slow. Get back over here.
each person
Faster.
using
I can't rewind it.
on average.
Shoot. I try to get him to say it from the beginning, but I'm gonna let him go. It's only a couple minutes.
Got a thing on the left, CO2 that you want to get to 0.
You want to get to
that's
0.
based on
Pay attention to
number
what
of
he's saying.
people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to 0. Probably one of these numbers is going to have to get pretty near to 0. That's back from high school algebra, but let's take a look. First, we've got population. The world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion.
Now this was from I think 2015, and he said 6 billion. He said that's going to go up to 9 billion. We're at 8.3 or something like that. Billion now, right? So he's already saying by the time it gets to 9, it's over. So we got to do something to stop this. Slow down these breathers, as they say.
Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines,
What?
Really great job.
You got to do a really good job.
reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Now he said if we can do a really good job on the things that they put in your arm and everything, we can get that number down.
He said really great.
Really great job of getting the number down. Now this dude right here, he's gonna start trying to make excuses for him. Now he was saying he doesn't agree with a lot of what Gates was saying, but he tried to clean it up. So I ain't gonna let him breathe. But you heard it from him himself. He said, "Look, one of the ways we can get that number down to 0, we can drop that population. It's gonna be through forced medication. Well, I can say forced. Let me be clear. YouTube is gonna say through medicative reasonings that can get the number down. Okay. Here's another. Watch this.
In terms of reaching the goal, the WHO's goal of vaccinating 70% of the global population.
Look how he just
by
staring
July
out in the crowd all
2022.
devious, man. This
Show
dude's
of hands
wicked
on
as
the
hell.
stage. Do we think it's going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen?
He ain't even paying attention. He's gazed off in his wet dream about her talking about,
To get
man, how can I rewind this shit?
to
She's talking about the
vaccination of 70% of the population of the world.
Oh, it's too late.
Too late.
I mean, there's a lot of diseases out there that demand does not exist for that.
Let me see if I can swing this. She said, "Do you think it's gonna happen? Us breaking it, getting down to poking up 70% of the population." He's over here, in a daze. Hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can get back.
Let you know what these vaccines are designed to do.
Hey man, keep that down over there, all right? we trying to stay on. We trying to trying not. Over the last time they came in and cut off them live in the middle of the class.
You might have to edit that out.
No, it's not.
It shows you how evil they are.
Okay, hold on.
He ain't got it, man.
Oh
He
man.
ain't got it.
Wicked.
Shalaki y'all that's online, but I'm trying to get this. This is why I gotta hear him say it one more time for people in the back.
In terms of reaching the goal, the WHO.
Shoot, it'd be nice if I was sharing, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Is the sound coming through? You can't hear? So when I was playing the video, you couldn't hear the sound at all? Just earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
In terms of reaching the goal, the WHO's goal of vaccinating
Look at him over
70%
here
of
staring
the
out like a
global
damn
population
zombie.
by July of 2022. Show of hands on the stage. Do we think it's going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen?
What?
To get to
He's
vaccination of
completely
70%
lost.
of the population of the world.
Oh, it's too late.
Too late.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of diseases out there that demand does not exist for that. I mean, countries should be able to set priorities.
Did you see how mad and just how mad and upset he was? What? It's too late. Too late. Like we missed the mark. 2022. We're supposed to get 70% of the population both up. It's too late. Yeah. But no, he's not done yet. Because remember, he said that the next one's gonna get everybody's attention.
Mm-hmm.
He's already said that. So, how else are they gonna, consolidate everything? I'm gonna try to speed this up and get the closing out in a minute. UBI, Universal Basic Income. That's gonna be the whole thing that they get everybody into this whole little utopia. They're gonna give everybody a set allowance. As long as you're good little boys and girls, man, and you ride with the B system, and you're gonna get a nice little deposit into your account to pay off your rent, get your little, get your abominable foods, make sure that you having your transportation cards refilled so that you can get around in your little smart city. This is all gonna be put on the line. They already experimented with it in up north. I think they was giving people $500 a month or $1,000 a month, seeing how that planned out. They did it in LA County. They had a little lottery where they picked, I think, 1,000 people to get this little UBI to see it, and they said you can spend it however you want to, no problem. Niggas out there probably buying weed, who knows, whatever else. But just to see, will the carrot with the rabbits bite the carrot on the string. Yes. So universal basic income is what they want, right? They want everybody on a fixed income so that you can have your ability to buy and sell. Because if you don't have this, according to Revelation 13, you don't accept this mark and this aspect of the beast system, man, you're not gonna be able to buy and sell. This is gonna be based around their controlled economy. And they want it digital so that they can be able to take it in away from you if you don't, play nice. We'll cut you off with a push of a button. It's where you get the CBDC, the central bank digital currencies, and all the digital dollars and everything. They got the Fed now payments already lined up. They're already collapsing all of these banks. Banks is already surrendering, saying we're out the game, surrendering into one big central bank alignment. Democrats stealth plan to enact a universal basic income. So there we go. This is all part of the plan. This is more about the universal basic income. I'm not gonna read too much about it. Y'all can, check it out. Here's the famous quote from the World Economic Forum: "You'll own nothing and you'll be happy." That's the epitome of slavery.
Yeah.
How many days you think turned down? I was gonna call herself German Truth. Harriet Tubman. She said, "I got the Underground Railroad, man. We're gonna get up out of here. We're leaving the plantation." You know how many Jake probably said, "Hell no. I'm not following you. You crazy? I'm not leaving Madison. I'm not dying for you. I'm comfortable right here." How many Jakes, because you would think it'd be thousands of Jakes who would have been like, "Man, we're out of here, man. We've organized. We're getting up off of this plantation." Nope.
That was filming.
Yeah, you're gonna go back to the outhouse. Look, we're giving you a wife that you can breed more for us. Giving you the slop and the extra so that you can eat. You got a job. Well, who's gonna be cool with that? I mean, that's slavery. You own nothing, and you're gonna be happy. We're gonna be happy to serve and be oppressed, and not gonna make no qualms about it. That's essentially what they're trying to enact and say. I've shown this before. This is the World Economic Forum. This is their digital ID. This is what they want to implement as the control system in order for you to be able to move. So if you want to know what uh, the mark or the system that is created by the beast, that's all chip enhanced, the technology is already here. And they've already coerced people into believing like this is okay, this is safe. Because if I'm waiting for them for me to extend my right hand, of course people gonna resist that. But if I make it more seductive to something we're already used to, and then transform it into a way to say, well, listen, if you want to keep living, you want to keep moving, you want to keep functioning, you're gonna have to submit to this and that. And you're gonna have to leave off of that Bible stuff you're talking about. That there's no place for that discrimination and that hate speech and all that in this new system here. So the World Economic Forum, their digital ID that they're implementing, that they want part of this grand scheme, is going to be based on all your financial services. You don't have this, you won't be able to open a bank account, carry out online financial transactions. See, some people who say, "Oh well, uh, I don't have to have that to go buy and sell. I can go online." No, if it's not coded correctly in the system, you won't be able to buy online either. Food and sustainability for farmers and consumers to verify provenance of produce to enhance value and traceability in supply chains. So it has to be all traced back to approved things. Why do you think Bill Gates is buying up all this farmland? He's the largest farmland owner in the world. Well, in America, I should say. I can't say the world. I don't know if that's true. I know in America though. And does he look like a farmer to you? Does he look like he's gonna do something good with the land? They just had that somebody they said some mystery company, agricultural company, bought up all this land by the Air Force base in California. They're buying up all this land. We know Bill Gates is a heavy investor in GMO technology, big pharma. I mean, that dude is one of the access to evil. He's one of the main proponents of it. So this digital ID, if your ID is going to be able to get you financial services, food and sustainability, travel and mobility. This is sound everything they were talking about in their UN document about Agenda 2030. Everything we're reading didn't say food, travel, housing. Everything is all going to be based in this agenda. Travel and mobility, to book trips to go through border control between countries and regions. Remember, even Second 15 said a man shall desire to go into a city and not be able. Well, what could hold him back? I mean, we kind of experienced that with the whole little quarantine moment where you couldn't go here or there. You needed to have something over your face to make sure that you could, you were approved. Many a country was not letting people in unless you had verification that you got your arm adjusted. You understand? This that was all beta testing to kind of see, well, how's this going to work? Humanitarian response to access services to demonstrate qualifications to work in a foreign country. E-commerce to shop, to conduct business transactions, to secure payments. So you got an online business, you got to be part of this whole little system, man. If you want to accept and secure payments, do your business transactions, all of that is in here. Social platforms. Oh, for Gen Z, Gen X, and everybody else that loves it on social media. Social interactions to access to third-party services that rely on social media logins. You won't be able to log into Twitter, X, Instagram, all that other stuff unless you got your ID. E-government. Citizens to access and use services, file taxes, vote or collect benefits. Social Security, disability, everything else. If you ain't got that world ID, that digital ID, you're not going to be able to do any of these things. Don't pay your taxes. Guess what? You're locking your black butt up. Telecommunications for users to own and use devices. For service providers, monitor devices and data on the network. Smart cities. To monitor devices and sensors transmitting data such as energy uses, air quality, traffic congestion. They already got all the new cars since 94, 95. All got black boxes in it. And it's supposed to be, to determine after a crash, what happened. But, I'm sure it has the ability to track your movements. For traffic congestion, energy usage, quality. Now, isn't that what they just got to talk about? Traffic congestion in New York? You got to pay the toll. So, smart cities, everything's going to be QR code based, 15-minute cities. Let's play this real quick.
If you're meeting up with friends at a park, you want to be able to meet them at the one that's a few blocks away.
Who says? I mean, the one a few blocks away might be some little torn down crap. Yeah, Jake like to go to a nice little park, so you might have to go to, a whole nother city to go to a nice little park. But they're saying, no, don't you want to go to the one down the street? You're going to meet your friends. This is called, what is a district? Now, what if people watch it or are fans of Hunger Games? Everything was based upon districts. Well, how many they had? 12? 12 districts. All of them was impoverished. Everybody was living under oppressive situations and whatnot, killing themselves just to live, playing games so they can do bread and circus games so that people can eat and sustain themselves. This is what they're talking about. Now they're saying this is the new thing: districts, which are going to be called 15-minute communities.
Friends at a park, you want to be able to meet them at the one that's a few blocks away instead of crossing the entire city. If you're going to get groceries, you want to go to the local market instead of driving to the opposite end of town. And if you're sending,
Who says?
That's
They're telling you what you want to do. But guess who owns the grocery stores? Guess who's going to have the quote unquote fresh veggies? It's going to be selling us the GMO crap that that they cultivate and make. That's what this is all
your
going to
kid
be.
to school, maybe you'd rather send them to the one that's a short walk, like roll or bus ride away. A lot of us can probably already do one of these things. But what if you lived somewhere where you could do all of them? That is what it means to live in a 15-minute community. Living in a 15-minute community is about being able to meet most of your daily needs within a 15-minute walk, roll, bike, or transit trip from your home.
All right, don't go too far. We
It
need to make sure
requires
we
you
know
to
everywhere
look
you're
at
at.
the district for all of these things rather than all over the city. But wait, what's a district? Most of the time, we either think about where we live in terms of our neighborhood or the whole city. In reality, we live on a scale somewhere in between. You live in one neighborhood, your favorite coffee shop is in another, and maybe you walk your dog through a few more. That group of neighborhoods where you spend a lot of your time, that is a district. District planning is about looking at those districts and working to make them better, bringing Edmonton closer to the city plan's vision. It's about asking questions like, do we have active and attractive main streets or nodes and corridors? Can people get around safely biking or by transit? Are there opportunities for different types of housing? Can people access the services and amenities they need? And then planning to make all those things happen.
So the point is pretty much understood, right? They want to create a 15-minute utopia where you can use your digital ID to access all services, transportation, your healthcare, food, everything. Your ability to get in and out to your little smart pad, your underground pod, everything's gonna be based on it, right? This is what they're trying to end.
You can see your building right there in Altadena. Everything is in there. They don't even have to leave.
They ain't gotta leave.
Well, down
Yeah, I know a Jake that's doing 10 years right now. They told him everything he needs is right in there too. Everything he needs is right there. There go your boy sipping on sludge. Remember, they said they're going to provide, like you said earlier, they'll provide you with the clean drinking water. We're going to make sure you get everything you want.
His system fits that. He can
Over 2.5 million people have no
The face of the franchise. What's he got? Water, agriculture,
and one of those
medicine. He sells you. He can control everything.
the way the only processor turns
Wasted
sewer
value.
sludge kind of nasty into clean drinking water, electricity, and ash that's pathogen.
Sewer sludge for electricity, clean drinking water, right? Now, I know California's already signed a bill. They said by 2025 it's going to be flowing through the taps.
Yeah.
But who's drinking tap water anyway? But still,
You gotta boil it.
who knows what these we go by these quote unquote purified bottles of water. Who knows where they getting that from? They're gonna be getting the damn sludge water too. And saying, oh, it's gone through reverse osmosis. It's clean now. Everything's great. Well, there you go. That's gonna be a whole other thing. So I've shown this before, but this is, Bill Gates talking about how he's invested in this technology to turn sewage sludge into clean water. Oregon, I know they're doing it too. And it's just a matter of time for everybody else, jumps aboard because this is the water that's gonna be flowing through the little underground pods that they gonna stash everybody in. Or where they want to, right? Yeah, this is the report about California. Yeah, California to turn sewage into drinking water.
Be drinking sewage water.
He
The state
did it with a
expected to
happy
adopt new rules that will allow sewage to be turned into drinking water delivered directly to taps. Experts say these
No,
sewage
it's not nice. Don't do it. Drink at the top.
It's safe to drink. However, it's still expected to be a few years before that water ends up in homes. In the meantime, California extending
I mean, if the water already ain't no good to drink, I mean, how they gonna say all of a sudden we give me sewage water? We'll make it good for you. Metals and toxins and chlorine and everything else. Now, this is the last one. I've shown this guy before too. But you want the food. You want sustainable food, right?
Professor Ikeda has invented the first steaks based on proteins from human excrement.
Oh, man. Wow.
Sewage mud contains a great deal of protein. We researched whether we could extract the protein and recycle it to make a meat substitute.
That's probably already going on.
Well,
Because it is alive with bacteria.
this is to preserve the earth. What? Y'all don't want to save the earth? don't want to. You don't want to be part of this great reset. And we ain't even talked about the bugs and the mealworms and everything else that they're gonna incorporate into the diet. They saying that is this what you want? This was the most I said. You can't trust this.
We didn't sign up for this.
You can't trust this demon, man, because that's what he got on deck. All right. I had to cut it short just for time's sake, man. Because like I said, this is skimming the surface of really everything. I try to cut as much as I could in on it. But nonetheless, man, I mean, this demon got some real plans lined up. If you want to know about Jacob's trouble and things of that nature, I mean, this is the pipeline that we got to look down in the near future, right? But the Lord's gonna sustain us one way or the other, by hook or by crook, man, for sure.
New world order is going to be rich, poor, incarcerated, or dead.
There you go.
That's the new world order.
I mean, they're looking forward to that, huh?
Yeah, cool.
They're looking forward to it.
That's it. That is it. So, I'm gonna end it there. Hopefully everybody got some clarification. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, man. So shalom to the brothers